While most of the CPG and retail world is still trying to wrap their heads around having a digital first mindset, much of the younger generations, especially Generation Z, are already thinking about a mobile first world. Is your CPG brand ready for that shift? Similar to my other Groceryshop videos that you guys have seen, the one that I did on CBD and also on the health and wellness conscious consumer, and I'll put a link up here for you guys to click on that playlist to watch those videos. My original intent for the footage that you're about to watch was that I was going to chop it up into digestible episodes and integrate some of my knowledge on the subject matter. But after rewatching the footage, I felt I could take away from the integrity of the presentations by the speakers by taking comments out of the context of the whole presentation. That being said, I'm gonna add my commentary, the areas and things that I wanna make sure I highlight for you guys, my audience, at the end of this video. Until then, I want you guys to sit back and relax to these two presentations that were around the shift to the mobile first world. The first individual that you're gonna hear speak is Zak Normandin. He is the founder and CEO of Iris Nova. That is a portfolio that owns Dirty Lemon, a beverage company, and also a retail concept called the Drugstore. And the second person that you're gonna hear speak is Arthur Zavilla. He is the head of CPG strategy at Pinterest.
Good morning. How many of you guys have sent a text message already this morning? I know it's early. Almost everyone in here. If not, I'm sure you sent one yesterday. What we've built is a platform that enables you as a consumer to purchase your favorite products all through text message. And we've proved that model out over the last few years with a brand called Dirty Lemon, which you may have seen. It's the black and white bottle here, was our first beverage that we launched in 2015. We've scaled that brand without the assistance of distributors or retailers or brokers. All of the conversations that, or all of the customers that we've acquired for that brand all come through a technology platform that we've built that's all focused around conversational commerce. So what's conversational commerce? We'll get into that. But our vision is to challenge traditional distribution in the grocery space. So obviously, as most of you know, the standard path to acquiring customers and selling products for food and beverage brands is through grocery stores. So you as a brand, you sell your product to a buyer or a retailer, it gets put into distribution, it gets then obviously put onto store shelves, and then it gets sold to a consumer. But the challenge in that situation is that you're dependent upon retailers, and as a brand, you really don't have much data on your consumer. We think that there's a better way to do that, and that's by building a direct relationship with customers. We're focusing specifically on the beverage industry because it's a huge opportunity. So beverage is expected to be a $2 trillion industry by 2021. 60% of the beverage industry is held by Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So you have a massive global market share that's held by two companies, which we feel that the products that they've created historically are a little bit out of touch with what the modern consumer is looking for. So people aren't drinking as much carbonated soft drinks anymore, and all the industry is moving quickly. But there definitely is an opportunity to change not only on the product selection side, but also with the way that the products are getting to consumers. So we think that the new grocery store is going to be on your phone, and that's something that data supports. So 65% of millennials will be purchasing all of their food online by 2020, which is a staggering statistic. 70% of consumers that purchase an item online are going to repurchase that product in that same place. And when you look at the convenience element, I have 3 children. My kids, when they want food, they go to the phone and we're either ordering from Amazon Prime, Uber Eats, Postmates, etc. The memories that I have of walking down every aisle of a grocery store with my mom or my dad, I don't think that my children are going to have those same memories. their access to food is much faster and it's on demand. So, first brand, like I said before, is Dirty Lemon. We've sold 2 million bottles to date. 90% of our sales have come through direct consumer. We do sell into strategic wholesale channels. We have over 150,000, almost 200,000 customers right now, and a 60% reorder rate. So of the customers that purchase our products today, 60% of them will come back within 90 days and reorder another one of our products or the same product that they ordered. I encourage you all to play around with our system. The number is right on the screen, but you can text at any time. We have 24/7 live customer service, and then we have a bot that we've been developing for the last few years that handles about 50% of the incoming conversations. This is a selection of Dirty Lemon beverages. We've launched 14 beverages to date. This is, like I said, just a few of the top sellers. We've come to a point with Dirty Lemon where we can launch a new beverage every 30 days, which is really, really exciting. And this is what I was trying to solve for in basically when we started this brand. My last company, we sold into some of the bigger national retailers like Target and Whole Foods. And I was always challenged by basically coming up with a new idea and then trying to get the approval so that we get onto store shelves, which sometimes took up to a year to make all that happen. We've significantly reduced the time that it takes to get a new product to consumers by owning the operational infrastructure, the relationship with the customer, and then obviously the fulfillment side of the equation as well. So this is the way it works. We have, like I said, about half of the conversations that are handled by a bot, so really simple transactions or really simple requests can be handled with a just a simple text message and some keyword-based responses. If you ask the system anything that we haven't built logic around on the bot side yet, it gets pushed to live customer service. And like I said, I encourage you all to play around with it. So in December of 2018, last year, we partnered with Coca-Cola. They were the lead investor on our last round of funding. We have an incredible amount of respect for Coca-Cola, and a lot of what we're building now is influenced by what they've built over the last 100 years. So we think that there's incredible value in having a shared operational infrastructure. So, your supply chain, your distribution, all of that at one level, at the parent level, and then having a portfolio of brands underneath that are all focused on different products, different consumers, etc. So we partnered with Coca-Cola, and as part of that investment, we decided that we wanted to start bringing on new brands to the portfolio. So instead of just Dirty Lemon, we would be selling other brands, both third-party brands and private label brands. Minna is the first brand, and we're just making this announcement today at Groceryshop. The first brand to be on the platform. It's a lightly brewed sparkling tea, no sugar, incredible founder and founding team. We think that the tea category specifically, and if you look at the sparkling category, the canned sparkling category, so it really started over the last few years with LaCroix, and obviously everyone I'm sure has heard of LaCroix. Now a lot of the LaCroix consumers have shifted to Spindrift, which is a great brand that had been around for a while as well and has really just started to, I think, grow exponentially over the last couple of years. But we think that that same consumer is going to be looking for sparkling water plus plus. So instead of sparkling water plus fruit juice, which is Spindrift, I think sparkling water plus lightly brewed tea is interesting, and you'll see some of the other products that we're introducing as well, which follow that same thesis. Amazing branding. So the way that this is going to work on the platform is that if a Dirty Lemon customer decides that they want to purchase Minna, they just send Minna a text message on their number, and that customer never has to enter their billing information, their shipping information, their credit card information. It's all in the system. So we're pooling customer data and sharing it across all of the brands. One thing that's important to note is that we don't use text message as a marketing channel. So we're not sending you text messages all the time, pestering you with promotions and stuff. This is specifically a value add for consumers to be able to have very fast, easy access to all the products that they love. We have 7 warehouses in the United States. We ship same day or next day everywhere in the US. So if you order the product today, you're going to get it tomorrow in every market. Second brand that we announced today is Halo Sport. Halo Sport is going after the sports hydration category. Really incredible formulation. The thing that drew me to this was an experienced founding team again, and also a formula that really stands on its own. So 2 grams of sugar that's naturally found in the citrus that's part of the formula, and then 10 calories per bottle and full electrolyte mix included with every bottle. Sanzo is a very exciting brand that follows the same thesis that we were talking about before, where it's sparkling water plus plus. So they're focusing on Asian-inspired flavors. So the first 3 SKUs are calamansi, which is a really amazing, almost like a citrus fruit that looks like a lime. It has the inside of an orange. A mango, so they're using real Alfonso mangoes, and then lychee. So these are flavors that have been historically, culturally relevant in Asian communities. They're bringing it to a more mainstream consumer base. We're very excited by this company. Vina is the 4th brand that we're announcing. Vina is a apple cider vinegar spritz that is competing against. So Bragg's has really owned that category for a really long time. No one's done anything really meaningful outside of Bragg's in the apple cider vinegar category. You have kombuchas and stuff like that, but what Vina has developed is a really amazing non-alcoholic, almost like a aperitif or a digestif with apple cider vinegar, also in a canned format. So all of these products are going to be available to our customers and also the customers of these brands all through text message. So we think in the future that every brand is going to have a phone number and a website. And the website is going to be looking at pretty pictures of products, and the phone number is going to be the place that consumers go to transact, to ask questions for customer service, to really any transactional items that a consumer is looking to handle with a brand. It would happen over messaging. And there's incredible power in that for the brand. So if you look at the traditional path for e-commerce for any consumer brand out there right now, it's either through Amazon or the brand has to do it themselves. What we've built is the underlying infrastructure that supports e-commerce at scale for consumer brands. The second brand, technically underneath the Dirty Lemon portfolio, was a concept that we call the drugstore. So we have 2 locations in New York City right now, and then we're going to be launching another 2 over the next 6 to 9 months. But the drugstore is a place where we can showcase all of the beverages that we sell in a brick and mortar setting. So this is about 100 square feet. It's in New York City. The photo of this one is specifically in Tribeca. Customers can go into the drugstore, pick out any beverage in our portfolio out of the cooler. They grab a bottle out of the cooler. There's no one in there checking them out. They walk out of the store and then just text the drugstore phone number and say, hey, I took a bottle of Dirty Lemon or a can of Sanzo or a can of Minna. And then if they're a current customer, we charge their account on file. If they haven't purchased from us in the past, then we send a link so they can check out on their phone. We didn't know if this was going to work when we first launched it. We launched it the end of last year in Tribeca, and then we have a second location in Hudson Yards. It's done incredibly well. For a very small footprint, we move about 100 bottles per day in each location. That's based on Dirty Lemon numbers. We're just starting to sell the other products there now. So 100 people are going in every day to this extremely small storefront, grabbing a bottle of one of our products and texting us. And the reason why we chose this location specifically is because we had a lot of customers in that area. So this is a convenience for them to grab a bottle when they're on their way to work or when they're heading home from the office. So once again, one of the big reasons why we wanted to partner with Coca-Cola is because they have this amazing legacy of not only creating billion-dollar brands themselves, but also, basically having that structure that we've talked about, which is having the Coca-Cola company basically manage and operate hundreds of different brands across a variety of different categories. One thing that's different between the two of us is that we actually don't think billion-dollar brands are going to exist in the future. We think the beverage space specifically is becoming extremely fragmented, that brands are going to exist to meet specific needs for consumers. Like Dirty Lemon, for example, I think Dirty Lemon at scale is probably a $50 million brand. And that's fine with us. We're looking to build $1 million LTV customers, not billion-dollar brands. If one of our brands hits $1 billion, that's great, but that's not the expectation or the intention in going into building a brand. Dirty Lemon is an expensive product, it's $10 a bottle. The reason why we're able to, the reason why we've been able to build this brand is because it's special. And typically when brands grow and get to a place where they need to hit new scale, they lower their price point and they end up selling their products to more people. And I think that a lot of times actually degrades the value of the brand or the thing that makes it special. So we're holding on to that for as long as possible with that brand, and then obviously all of the other brands in the portfolio.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
How do you manage shrink in this portfolio?
So we're tracking inventory every single bottle that's coming in and out. There really is no way to manage the shrink. We can just track what people are taking and what they're paying for. So there's a spread between those. Sometimes people don't pay for 3 days after they take a bottle out of the fridge, and that's fine. But that's interesting data that we can kind of take with us and say, okay, well, we know that the average customer, 50% of customers pay right on spot, and there's a lot of data that we're collecting too. Hudson Yards has been an interesting experience for us because there's a lot of international tourists and people visiting that location specifically. So we're able to collect data from that experience too. We're actually rolling out the drugstore concept in an actual physical vending machine. So we don't have any photos of it right now, but it's a vending machine with basically a huge LCD touchscreen on the front of it. You can pick any of the beverages just like you would in an actual drugstore location, and then you enter your phone number. So you never have to put coins in the machine or take out your phone or anything like that. So there's a way to do this at scale where we don't have to worry about shrink. This is a great marketing initiative for us to actually be able to just connect with consumers in a real life setting. We also have in the back of each of the drugstore locations, we have a full cocktail bar where we're using, it's a private space, but we're using that space to test out new beverage concepts before they get launched into bottles. So we have bartenders come in, we have mixologists, baristas, we have a full espresso machine. So we're testing them out, and we think that beverage trends start in coffee shops and cocktail bars. So that's why we built that up. I'll end with one thing. Like I said before, in the future, we think that brands are going to have a phone number and a website. This is obviously really compelling for beverage, but the opportunity here exists far beyond just beverage. So imagine being at home, being on your last pump of soap or your last bit of shampoo in the shampoo bottle, and you buy the same shampoo or the same soap every single time. Imagine being able to pull out your phone and text the brand that you purchase from all the time and say, hey, send me more shampoo, send me more conditioner, send me more face cream, send me more whatever. That's the future that will exist, and we're racing toward that right now. So.
Good morning. Day two is always a great slot in Vegas because first day, everyone's enthused, excited. 8 a.m., let's get that 745 good seats. Day two, you've already had the full day. Everyone's gone to the restaurant. Some of you have been taught how to play craps and lost. But you made the choice to wake up this morning and give us your attention. And your attention is the most valuable resource we have as marketers, and I thank you for that. I'm going to spend some time talking about how digital is changing and evolving the consumer journey, specifically the inspired mobile shopper. And our journey today starts on the corner of 14th and Broadway. From New York City, the corner of 14th and Broadway is the southwest corner of Union Square. Every Wednesday and Saturday, Union Square turns into an amazing farmer's market. There are 9,000 farmer markets occurring every week, selling $10 billion worth of product. And when you enter a farmer's market, your mindset is prepared to be inspired. You walk into that farmer's market and you say, you know what? I don't actually know what I want. Maybe I do have a couple of ideas of some staples, but my mind is open to being influenced. Maybe I want some organic things, or some onions, or some blueberries. Maybe I'll pick up a box of cherry tomatoes and make a salad or a Greek salad. Specifically, let me turn around and find the cheesemonger to find the feta. Everyone kind of go through that journey of, you know what? Maybe, and I should, or ooh, that sounds interesting. That farmer's market mentality opens your mind to allowing that to occur. My team told me not to put this image up because it was blurry, and I was like, no, the crowd's going to get a kick out of the fact that the strawberry selling point is it's from New Jersey. I was like, no, I don't want strawberries. Oh, these are from New Jersey? I'll take 2. So I thought that was fun. Green box, are there others? But the inspiration of fresh produce that the market, farmer's market has instilled in us has now been embraced by our retailer brethren, right? Most grocery stores have remodeled themselves to be more farmers-like in their produce, right? When we walk to the deli counter, it looks like a butcher shop, right? The bakery does have an artisanal feel, and that sense of inspiration is being brought into the traditional brick and mortar. Because as much as digital is influencing our shopping, for the vast majority of our world, 90+ of consumption is still going to occur in a brick and mortar store, which then pivots us to say, hey, how do we deal with the digital revolution, right? We heard a number of times yesterday that over 50% of all food and beverage products are going to be influenced by some sort of digital interaction. But is that same sense of inspiration that I've described in the farmer's market, or even in the grocery store, occurring on our mobile devices? And I don't think so. How many times have you opened up an app or entered into a retail environment and said, okay, what do I type in that search bar? How do I navigate these filters? Oh gosh, how do I just add these things or buy these things immediately? I might not be solely clear that I want them just yet. The inspiration bar is lower, right? Mobile grocery, as it stands today, is minimizing the experience and emphasizing the transaction. And by the way, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. My colleague Zak just executed some fantastical transactional opportunities if you have a one-to-one relationship with a brand. But that's hard to create, and that might be tomorrow. But today, we still have to deal with the fact that in an environment where there are 30,000 choices in an average grocery store, how do you become the one that's chosen? We believe we're entering a new phase of grocery consumption, from a physical store to a digital convenience to what we thought and created and called an omni-channel promise. Remember that word omni-channel? How many people were on a team with the phrase omni-channel in their title, right? Omni suggests the same, replication. We disagree with the concept entirely. We believe tomorrow or today is actually an inspired mobile journey, where that inspiration from mobile actually can be transacted mobily, but more often than not actually inspiring you to take action offline as well. And that inspired journey, that inspired shopping journey, is a very simple equation in our minds. It starts with receptivity. When you're on a mobile device, why are you on that mobile device? And is your mindset open to receiving branded messaging? It adds relevance. There are a lot of things I can say, a lot of opportunities I can engage. 300 million people in the US. Does everybody actually want to hear from me? What's the relevancy of that environment and the message you're communicating? And if you get those two right, impact will occur. Receptivity plus relevance equals impact. Let's double click on receptivity. Receptivity is when you open up that mobile device and scroll through your apps or your websites. What are you there for? Why are you actually engaging with a particular platform. And I want to speak a little bit about Pinterest as a platform. Pinterest is a visual discovery engine. Visual because at the corpus of who we are is the picture. We live in a world of pictures. Pictures do speak 1,000 words, both static and video. Discovery, the mindset when you're on Pinterest, is open to understanding based on the interests that you have, what other brands, services, and products can expand and deliver against your interests. And engine is because we believe the actual value of Pinterest is not on the platform, it's off the platform. Go do something, go make something, go travel somewhere. As a visual discovery engine, we internally have a mantra. This is what we believe in and what we stand for. Pinterest brings everyone the inspiration to create a life they love. That is a magical word, and the magical word in that is inspiration. We live and die by inspiration. That's what we stand for. In fact, we are the home of inspiration in our minds. Inspiration is a verb, and I'll read it directly from Webster's, to fill someone with the urge or ability to do or feel something. Urge, ability, and do. That's what we stand for. That's who we are. We inspire across all different categories of life. Amazon started with books. We started with food. It is our largest category. But interests expand through everyone's life. Home, fashion, decor, pet, travel, beauty, wedding, drink, baby. A lot of people put us into a couple of categories that might not be relevant for themselves. Do we have more baby content on the platform or more alcohol content on the platform? Baby, right? That seems like moms and things. We have more alcohol content on the platform, right? And there's probably correlations there. One baby equals 2 drinks per day. Do the math. But we're across all different categories. This is my home feed. And these are my interests. A little bit of a traveler. Actually bought a new watch. A little bit of fashion. There's a summer drink cocktail kind of thing I went on. We called last year. Bourbon was 2017, 2018. You know what the drink of 2019 was? We're actually at the end of it. Gin. I called it Gin-a-sance. The summer of 2019 is a Gin-a-sance. If you ever had a gin with botanicals, you were very much on trend this summer. As we talk about interests and my personal interests, I'm bucketed into categories. Food and drink, European travel, men's fashion, urban living, but more specifically because of the specific content I've engaged with, I actually have a deeper understanding of who I am and my taste profiles, specifically gin cocktails, or watches, or modern seating. And this understanding based on the content I've engaged with creates a taste profile, what we call taste graph, around each and every individual user on Pinterest. And it is that taste graph that then we serve content against because we know what you're interested in and your particular taste within those interests. That allows a very high level of relevancy and receptivity because Pinterest is about yourself, not your selfie. We're oftentimes bucketed into social media. Did I describe anything that is social in this workflow? No, we're personal media. Now, there's obviously opportunities to connect with creators and people that have similar interests, but it's certainly not your friends. It's those that share your similar interests. And I think it's important as we talk about mobile, that mobile is now the primary medium we're dealing with, right? Mobile is surpassing television this year, and we're talking over 3 hours a day on our mobile devices. 12 minutes is the average time someone doesn't look at their phone. I've got about 18 minutes, so hopefully I'm holding on. But we actually also have a negative side of this mobile obsession, right? 50% of American teens feel they're addicted to their phones. A third of Americans are going to give up something special instead of having their phone with them at all times. Before I joined Pinterest about 2 years ago, I worked at makers of Oreo cookies, and I know very much what a cookie jar is. It is a physical barrier preventing or creating some distance so that you don't overindulge. We're putting our devices in cookie jars, and these cookie jars have timers on them to actually limit the amount of consumption we have on our mobile devices. Anybody know these brands? These brands are pieces of technology we're placing on our technology to take us away from our technology. We believe there's actually and evolution that's coming. Right? Personal media and the focus on the self, we believe our platform is a platform of positivity, free of judgment, and one that helps build confidence. That is the counterpoint to other platforms that serve a fantastic purpose, but often have somewhat of an opportunity to cause some stress, anxiety. A positive emotion and focus on self translates into an area where you are doing more. I want to get out and do something, and that's being seen on Pinterest. I encourage each of you to go read the eMarketer report in June called Social Commerce, if this is a passion point of yours. How is social, or what I call digital, impacting our world of commerce? And Pinterest is found to be 5 times more likely to be a platform where consumers are here to find and shop for products. That is a high level of receptivity and a high level of openness in the mindset of a consumer when they're on a platform. Relevance. Relevance is a very personal conversation. What's relevant to me might not be relevant to you, right? And we are talking about everyone here, 300 million users on our platform, navigating 200 billion pieces of content, saving them to 4 billion boards, but that relevancy is curated based on the taste graph that I mentioned before. That relevancy is also opening up a mindset when you're on the platform where people are seeking inspiration on the interests that they've identified, but they're full of intent. They're here to actually take action on something. If I'm searching for a healthy snack, I'm actually being served content around a healthy snack, and I'm actually going to purchase that healthy snack. But let's talk about the time frame around that journey. Right? We could take a picture. We might have taken some pictures last night with some colleagues, posted them on social media networks, tagged each other, and said, "Wasn't that a great time yesterday?" We could be checking our sports scores, or actually looking up what's going on in the news right now, maybe even sharing a story in the present day. Pinterest is a future-oriented platform. I want to go do something tomorrow. What brands or services are going to help me get there? Where do you think you actually have the most influence? Where do you think you actually have the most receptive of a mindset? It's in a future-oriented state. Major life moments is where we play as a starting point on the platform. Baby, wedding, home renovation, pet, to name a few. Evergreen moments are actually more popular. Everyone is planning a vacation. Sometimes, I'm pretty sure each of us have a birthday every year. Moving and music festivals, also opportunities to engage. But for food and beverage and grocery, the most relevant moments in time to plan for are calendarized. Summer, back to school, Halloween, holidays. Second to holidays, you know what the most engaged moment in time, calendarized for food and beverages? Back to school. 38 million people have engaged and created routines. What is the snack of choice? How am I building my lunchbox? What do I do for breakfast? Right? We have 27 different food and drink moments that are calendarized where we know exactly when they start and when they stop. And it is this calendarization of moments and receptivity and relevance that allows us to be very effective in creating a relationship with consumers that is highly valuable. Summer cocktails, popular search term over the summer. This is a typical home feed delivery. But in this, we see some brands engaging. Miller Coors, specifically Blue Moon, wanted to deliver just a reminder that said during Derby Day, this was during the horse racing kind of season, why don't you do Derby Day in style? Picking up on some of that fashion cues that Kentucky Derby often delivers. Beautifully presented, brand forward, contextually relevant. You might consider this as a display ad, and I say, is that a problem if it is contextually served and offering value? I don't think it is. I think it actually contributes to the consumer and the brand. Stella thought the same. You know what? Summer drinks, summer cocktails specifically, I'm not even serving cocktails, but you're probably creating some sort of party or engagement. Get-togethers with Stella are that much better. We measured this off of brand lift and saw a 3% lift in spend. Very effective, very relevant. Profit actually took a survey of all major consumer brands in the US and ranked what are the most relevant brands for you. We understand Apple, they put a space shuttle in our pockets. Amazon delivers everything to us in 2 days' time, and there is Pinterest, third on the list, any good company, because of the high relevancy and high impact that we provide our consumers when they engage with us. Receptivity and relevance drives to impact. If you get those two pieces of the equation correctly, you're actually going to deliver something quite special. And quite special means we're amplifying someone's life to create something that they love. Food and beverage, I mentioned, was our #1 category. 70 million consumers engage in food and beverage content on a monthly basis on the platform. That represents 76% of primary grocery shoppers, women 25 to 54, and these households spend 5% more on groceries annually. You know what that translates to? $14 billion in incremental grocery spend. That is a valuable consumer with a high level of intent and receptivity. 55% of weekly pinners use Pinterest in-store while shopping for food and beverage. I will pause and read that again so you can take out your phones and open up the camera app. 55% of weekly pinners use Pinterest while in store shopping for food and beverage. That is not scrolling through my feed while waiting for the checkout line. That is actively shopping and using the platform as a utility to make choices in a highly relevant and contextual manner. We've asked them, what do you do there? Why and how? They're seeking inspiration. I know I want to make something quinoa. I don't know how to do that. I know I want a healthy snack for my kids. Which one is relevant for me? They're discovering new products. Always want to kind of bring something new into the household. And they're building digital lists, because the digital list and the digital cart is the new shopping list that was once written on a piece of paper and placed on the refrigerator. Seeking inspiration, over 80% of consumers come on platform and they say, you know what? I'm interested, but I'm not yet decided on the brand that's going to actually make it into my shopping cart. When I've decided on that brand, I've got other platforms that are going to fulfill against that need. Undecided, but open to brand influence. Trying new products, we did a very quickly go through this ODC study that we announced today at Groceryshop, where they analyzed 40 new products across 7 CPG categories and measured a 9 million household panel, half of which were pinners, half of which were non-pinners. And that represents our coverage. We cover about 50% of the US population. The population of pinners try the new products analyzed significantly more than the non-pinners. How much more? Almost a third more. 29% more likely to purchase a product than a non-pinner. Why? Because the discovery mindset of a pinner translates to them taking action. When you're dealing with new trial rates of 1 or 2%, 29% higher, is the difference between actually winning and losing. And finally, driving purchase. 72% of pinners actually made a purchase because they saw content on the platform and took action against that content. Up and down the funnel throughout the way. Receptivity is important. Understand the mindset of your consumer. Relevance, recognize the personalization of the digital age requires us to respect people's attention, and giving them a personalized experience for them to take action will lead to impact. ROI is important, but return on investment is one definition of impact. Return on inspiration is what I think we should all aspire to. Let's inspire together. Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those presentations. I know when I was listening to it, regardless of how far along I am in terms of my thoughts around a mobile-first world, it made me think. I know while sitting in that room of a lot of CPG brands and grocery professionals, they were not ready for the information that was getting told to them. They were still stuck in a very much digital first. They were still trying to wrap their heads around digital first. So them hearing some of these things that are coming in the future was a little bit alarming. But as I promised, I'm going to make sure that I wanted to highlight a few items that I believe are worth reinforcing to you guys, my community. Most of the brands that I talked to today are thinking about mobile strictly in the sense that it's the next marketing frontier. They're really wrapping their heads around, how do I market through SMS? They think that is a much better resource spend than doing things like email. But as you guys saw from the presentation with Zak, Dirty Lemon is not utilizing it at all from a marketing perspective. They're actually using it from a transactional perspective for commerce. They believe specifically that the grocery store is on your phone today. When you are ordering something with Dirty Lemon and all the other brands within Iris Nova in the future, you make that transaction through text messages with a bot through what they call conversational commerce. That ease and convenience has been matched by Iris Nova with an extensive logistics network that gets all of your orders to you same day or next day. This is the level of speed and convenience that the market will, and in some cases already expects from those that they're transacting with. From Zak's presentation, I also want to just bring up the idea around the retail concept, the drugstore. For some of you listening to it, it might have seemed extremely wild. And honestly, a lot of it probably is not scalable to all geographical areas in its current concept. But if you take away the aspects around the trust elements on the transaction and some of the inventory concerns, I think it's important to focus on that it provides a unique customer experience for his brands. And he highlighted that it has actually a similar customer acquisition cost to digital marketing today. You didn't see that specifically in this presentation, but Zak was a part of a general session keynote that he did speak on that point specifically. But you're already seeing this type of direct-to-consumer physical store creation happening in all kinds of consumer categories. But these concepts are extremely unique in the sense comparative to just the retail boxes that we're currently interacting with now, but it also gives a brand the ability to create feeling that is attached to the brand that they hope you will be a loyal advocate of. But I do just want to make one more comment around Iris Nova, Zak's portion of the video, his presentation before I jump into Pinterest's side, just around the Iris Nova portfolio and how that kind of venture investment incubator type of a fund is unique in the sense that it is providing a plug and play for these beverage brands to be integrated into a vetted proprietary technology in terms of utilizing some of the mobile conversational commerce, also having a back-end system that will be scaled across all of the brands, some of the customer information back-end and everything that will be scaled across all of those brands, but also having the backing of a major beverage portfolio like Coca-Cola does help in the sense that you kind of never know what's going to happen in the market, and having the backing of somebody like Coca-Cola does allow you to leverage some of that value and some of that expertise if the market goes sideways or it goes in a different direction than Zak believes. And this kind of gives you a lifeline to somebody that could potentially help you in those particular situations. And I think that that's important to kind of make a mention on, because if you are thinking about any type of partnership or investors and anything like that from a strategic standpoint, you really want to make sure that you are thinking long term how this potential partner could help you, be that on a positive sense, or sometimes when you're getting into kind of hairier situations, be it from different exposure levels or liability, external threats, things of that nature. Now, jumping into the Pinterest part of that video, I thought it was extremely interesting I thought it was great to hear from somebody, top level leader within Pinterest. And being that I am not a personal daily user, I don't necessarily a lot of times know about some of the features that are being rolled out. One of the most interesting kind of facts that I thought Arthur brought up was that 55% of weekly Pinterest users actually use the product while they are in store shopping. I have done a ton of research around customers in store at a grocery store or mass consumer or something like that utilize their mobile phone for research and things of that nature. A lot of the data that I've seen point a lot towards maybe utilizing Amazon for information or trying to somehow acquire some reviews and things of that nature before a purchase. I think specifically this opens up a ton of opportunities for CPG brands to start thinking about Pinterest a lot differently. This kind of jumps into my thought that a lot of CPG brands need to start looking at Pinterest with their ad platform and also just staying ahead of how they're rolling out some of these features for shoppable links. Pinterest is utilized much differently than other social media platforms, and because of that, it provides CPG brands and retailers a unique way to reach consumers. Currently, mobile commerce is very much transactional and was highlighted as a positive in Zak's presentation. I totally agree that I think mobile commerce being quick and easy, the way that it's set up in terms of being transactional, is a convenience thing. It's great. But there's a lot of people that maybe are still trying to bridge the gap in terms of that particular transactional side. They want to add some experience piece, be a lot more inspired with mobile transaction, and Pinterest provides that to them because inspiration is something that is core to Pinterest. So their ability to kind of bridge that and have people be in store looking for inspiration for purchasing allows Pinterest a lot of unique things that they could do with advertising for CPG brands, maybe also retailers. I know they already have some partnerships with Target and Walmart. I know some big CPG brands are obviously involved with their ad platforms, but I think that as things progress into maybe more content generated shoppable links and things that are more embedded into the natural way that users are utilizing Pinterest, provides a ton of opportunity for CPG brands and retailers to hit their potential customers in a much different way. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help support me, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button on this video. If this is the first time you've been introduced to my videos, would love for you guys to be a part of my community by subscribing to my channel. I upload several videos just like this weekly. And if you guys want to connect further outside of this platform, I do include all of my social media links down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hopefully I gave you some value in return, and we'll see you guys on the next video.